Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and I'm about to predict the future in the responses I'm going to get to this video with people saying this was stupid, the test didn't make any sense, and other things of a similar nature. But what I'm doing here is I have upgraded my Lian Li Dynamic Evo in a number of different ways, and I want to show you the differences in the performance in terms of the thermals. Now you can see the original setup that I had before with Lian Li's SL120 V2 fans, Gigabyte 3090 and NZXT's Kraken Z73. Now I've moved into Lian Li's Infinity fans, reverse fans. I've got a vertical GPU mounting for the 4090, and I've got Corsair's H150i Elite Caplix cooler. I have made some other changes that I'm going to highlight here, and I've done a separate in-depth video on all the different things I did and why. But here I want to talk to you about what the end results were of this, and obviously show you the differences visually for your viewing pleasure, because there are some nice highlights to it. I think it looks a lot nicer now. I've made a few different changes in here, one of which is using Lian Li's Infinity reverse fans, which is going to get people saying that I've got my fans all the wrong way around because they look like they're all set to exhaust, when in fact these fans are specially designed with reverse blade logic so that they can pull cold air into the case but it'll still let you see the infinity mirrors. I've swapped out with the H150i Elite Caplix, and I have also got myself a nice front mesh kit. So this is an optional accessory which you can add to the Dynamic Evo, which essentially allows you to add either 140mm or 120mm fans to the front of your case and then have this mesh panel on there instead of the glass one. So quite a significant change there. Obviously means I've got more fans in there. Now I'm also doing something which I wouldn't normally do, which is vertically mounting a GPU. Historically, this has led to warmer graphics card temperatures because it puts it closer to the glass, but this bracket actually pushes it quite far back, which is pretty nice. So now with the addition of the front fans and the lack of NVMe expander card, I have better airflow from the bottom and from the front blowing onto the GPU, and there's a big enough gap there both behind and in front of it that I think it shouldn't affect performance too badly in terms of heating up other components, and it looks nice too. So in the original format where I had the 4090 mounted in the standard position and the SL120 V2s, as a reminder here you can see that the front has a glass panel on it, I wanted to test what this was like before and after. So this is the setup been running for probably the last 6 months or something, maybe not that long. But then I wanted to put it through the paces and see how it got on. You can see NVMe expander card blocking 2 of the bottom fans, and obviously the layout of the fans with the SL120 V2s. So I ran Cinebench R23 and 3D Mark Port Royal stress test because I wanted to put both the CPU and GPU under load to see how they performed, and I'm going to show you the results both now and a comparison later on as well. But what I found was relatively similar performance in terms of the results I got out of it, and you can see here that the GPU got up to 70 degrees on the memory, 67 degrees on the GPU, and then 79 total. The CPU was running pretty hot at around 100 degrees at the max. Now i9-3900K does run pretty hot unless you undervolt it, and Cinebench does push it to its max, so this wasn't surprising. But I wanted to then swap out and change it up. Obviously I've got more fans now, I've got better airflow, and I've renewed the thermal paste, and I've got a new cooler in there. So theoretically it should do better. Whether the GPU mounted like this does or not though is something you might question, and you might want to know whether it would be like to set up in this format. And so I'm going to show you the results. Same tests, and as you can see once again the CPU hit 100 degrees, and Port Royal was again run to do the same logic, because I wanted to do the same logic for both to be as fair as possible, even though it's a completely different setup essentially. And it's worth noting that Cinebench only got 32,000 points, not as high as I'd hope, but that's probably because of the thermal throttling. So you can see in both instances, we've got the same sort of temperatures at the top end. So it is getting pretty hot on the top end. It's probably thermal throttling. I could probably do with undervolting the CPU to try and bring those temps down a little bit. Now you can see there's a marginal difference perhaps with the after upgrade. Actually cooler on the minimum end of the temperatures, but similar on the top end. Perhaps the E-cores are not quite as hot, but it's very marginal difference. And then when looking at the GPU, you can see on the left before and then on the right the after, and you'll see that again, there's actually surprising little difference here. Actually, the vertical mounting has made very little difference to the thermal performance. The hotspot is like 1 degree hotter and the GPU itself is a couple of degrees hotter, but this is obviously under heavy load, under usual day-to-day gaming. It's going to be perfectly fine. So some nice upgrades, and I'm pretty happy with the results. It'll be interesting to see how it goes long term, whether I put the GPU back the way it was, add in some strimmer cables. Check out the other video to see all the things that I did in more depth if you're interested, and let me know in the comments what you think. Which setup do you prefer? Thanks for watching. You've made it right to the end of the video, you brilliant legend you. If you've enjoyed it, click that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and drop me a comment down below if you've got any questions. If you really enjoyed it, consider joining the channel and see the benefits of doing so. Check out these other videos. You might well find them interesting or useful. And most importantly, have a great life.